All right, so welcome everyone. Today's class, we are going to focus on questions 5 and 6 of the CSEC parts paper. The first question we are going to attempt to do is taken from July 2021, right? Now this one is familiar. The question reads, 100 students are surveyed on the amount of money they spent on data for cell phones during a week. The table below shows the results as well as the midpoint for each class interval. So question 5 is normally the statistics question. It is a question where students can get some marks, and as I mentioned to you all on many occasions, we are attempting to get at least 5 questions. 5 marks in each question, right? Now, we have the amount of money spent, the number of students, the midpoint. Using the table, determine the modal class. So the modal class is determined by the class with the highest frequency value. Could somebody tell me which class has the highest frequency value or the highest F value? Anyone? Which class, these are the classes, has the highest value here? Nicole? Look at the F values. Tell me which one is the largest.
70 to 80.
70 to 80. And that corresponds to 31. Thank you. So this is 70 less than X less than or equal to 80, right? 70 less than X less than or equal to 80. So that is the modal class with the highest number of students or the highest frequency value. Calculate an estimate of the amount of money spent given your answer. Now, we need to find the mean. So the mean is found by, good afternoon. The mean is found, the formula is the sum of f of x divided by the sum of f. So remember, this is an interval. That is why they give us a midpoint. So what I want you to do, if you haven't done it before, you are to write down 7 by 55, then 11 by 65, plus 31 by 75, plus 29 by 85, plus 22 by 95. And we are dividing all of that by the sum of f. So 7 plus 11 plus 31 plus 29 plus 22. So work that out. Even if you didn't know what to do, I'm giving you a hint. Work it out and see what you get. All right, so we have 77 multiplied by 55 plus 11 multiplied by 65 plus 31 multiplied by 75 plus 29 multiplied by 85 plus 22 multiplied by 95. And I have 7,980. Did somebody confirm that?
Yeah.
Right, and find the sum of the numbers in the denominator. The sum of the numbers in the denominator is over 100. Did you all get 100?
Yes, miss.
So this is 79.8. The mean is 79.8. So this is how we calculate the mean. The question goes on to say, Damien reports the median amount spent is $84. Briefly explain why Damien's report could be correct. So the median, if the sum of F is 100, the median is a half of 100, which is the 50th score. So we have to add until we reach the 50th score. So 7 and 11 will give me 18. 18 plus 31 will give me 49. So which means this interval here will give me the median, which is the 50th score. So we add 7 plus 11, we'll get 18. We add 18 plus 31, we'll get 49. So it means that Damien is correct because his interval, his number is 84. So any value more than 80 but less than or equal to 90 is correct. So we write in Damien is correct since the 50th median class is 80 less than x less than or equal to 90, and 84 falls in that interval. We all know, since we have been doing statistics, mean, mode, median. We know median means middle. How is it the middle? Well, it is the middle of the frequency values. So you're finding a half of the sum of the frequency. Here, the frequency is 100. The 50th value would lie within that interval. So Damien is correct because 84 would lie in that interval. Two-way contingency table below gives information on the mode of transport to school for 100 students. So we have to fill in the table. So if the number of boys and girls is 100, what is this value here? If the number of boys, how much?
52.
52. Very good. What shall we fill in the table? If this plus this plus this will give me 48. How much is this here? These three add up to 48. How much is this part here?
19.
That's 19.
Very good. Excellent. 19. We go in again. This plus this plus this will give me 100. What is the value there?
That's 37.
Yep, excellent. 37, right? And how are we going to get this value here? Well, if you notice, when we add here, when we add this and this, we will get 40. So when we add this and this, we will get 37. So what number we will get here that will give us 23?
Why should you take away 15?
And how much is that? So there's absolutely no reason why you should not have gotten that 2 marks. If you notice, going across, it's supposed to add up. Coming downward, it's supposed to add up as well. So take a minute and write down the values if you didn't get them. So they like to bring statistics and they like to bring probability. So let's go. A student is selected at random. What is the probability that he or she, so either boy or girl, was being driven to school? So the probability, and you need to write it down, the probability of a student being driven to school is the number of students being driven over the total number of students. So I want you to go to the table and tell me, oh, table so far, right? Tell me how many students are being driven to school. Look at the table. Right? Very good. How many students are there in total? It is 40.
100.
Yes.
100.
So reduce this fraction for me. 40 over 100.
Two-fifths.
2/5. Did somebody confirm that? Did anybody else get 2/5? All right, let's go. What
Yes.
is the, yeah, go ahead.
I got 2/5.
Very good, thank you. One of the girls is selected at random. what is the probability that she did not cycle to school? So if she didn't cycle to school, this is what we're looking at. So if she did not cycle, therefore she could have walked or she could have driven to school. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yeah, miss.
So the probability that she did not cycle is equal to the probability, not the probability, is the number of students, or the number of girls, I should say. The number of girls walking plus the number of girls being driven over the total number of girls. So work out after me. I'm going to scroll up so you can see the screen. Look. So what two numbers would we add? How many girls walk and how many girls were being driven?
$34.
34, 26 plus 8, 34. So we have 34 over 52. Reduce that fraction for me, please. Reduce that fraction. (34 over 52 is?
17 over 26, miss.
Yes, 17 over 26. So that is the answer, right? 17 over 26. Let's go. January 2021. 60 students took an algebra test which comprised of 15 multiple choice. The number of correct answers that each student obtained is recorded below. Using the table, determine the number of students who had exactly 13 correct answers. How many students had 13 correct answers?
11.
Very good. So that is 1 mark we could have gotten. What is the modal number of correct answers? What is the number of correct answers with the highest number of students? Which number of students is the highest to begin with?
$14, miss.
Right. Is 14 the mode? What they're asking you for? The number of correct answers. Is 14 the number of correct answers? 14 corresponds to how many correct answers?
9.
9. So please answer what they ask you, right? Don't go and put 14 because 14 not even the answer for the number of correct answers. Because 14 corresponds to 9 and that is not the move. We're looking for the number of correct answers with the highest frequency. Do you all understand that?
Yeah, miss.
Let's go again. We want the median. So here what? How many students took the algebra test? How many children?
60.
So the median is a half of 60, which is the 30th value. So let us add until we get 30. So 6 plus 14, 20, 20 plus 2, 22, 22 plus 6, 28, 28 plus 2 will give us 30. So, because it is the 30th value here is 12 and it lies exactly there, we will take the average of these two. So the median is 12 plus 13 over 2, which is 12.5. 12.5 correct answers. Now, if you just put 12, I am sure the examiner would have given you it correct, right? But just know when the number ends exactly in one of the intervals, we have to add the other one because the interval 12 and 13, this will be between 11.5 and 12.5, this interval. And this one will be from 12.5 to 13.5, 0.5 less and 0.5 more. So just know when the number ends exactly there, you have to find the average of the two consecutive numbers. All right, so give me a second. I'm coming back now. You all take down what you need on the screen. All right, let's go. They want the probability of a student chosen at random who had at least, this is the key word here, at least 12 correct answers means that the person could have 12 or more than 12. So they can have 12, 13 correct answers, 14 and 15. But to answer the question, you need to know what the word at least means. At least means 12 or more. So 12 correct answers, 2, 11, 9, and 10. So 2 plus 11 plus 9 plus 10 over the total number of students, which is 60. So find the sum of those numbers and write your answer over 60. Go ahead. What is the sum of 2, 11, 9, and 10?
32, miss.
Right? And 2 could go, as a matter of fact, 4 could go into 32 8 times, and 4 could go into 16 15 times. So the answer is 8 over 15. Did anybody get that?
Yes.
All right, let's go. A group of students wrote a physics examination. Each of the students achieved a grade 1, 2, 3, or 4. The pie chart shows the results of the students. 39 students achieved a grade 3. Determine the number of students who wrote the examination. So here's what we have. 117 degrees is equal to 39 students. That is the information that we have. So 1 degree will be 39 over 117. So 360 degrees, which represents the whole pie chart, will be 360 multiplied by 39 over 117. So work out that for me and see what you get. How many children took the exam?
$120, miss.
Yes, 120. Could anybody else confirm that it is 120?
Yes, miss.
Very good. We're going again. The ratio of the number of students who achieved a grade 1, 2, or 4 is 2 to 4 to 3. A student passed the exam if he or she achieved a grade 1, 2, or 3. How many students passed the exam? So, let us see. So we know there are 120 students. So 2 to 4 to 3. So grade 3 is 39, right? So therefore, if grade 3 is 39, and that was not included here because this is 39 here, and we have 120 students in all, it means that obtaining grade 1, obtaining grade 4, and obtaining grade 2 will be the balance, which is 120 minus 39. And 120 minus 39 is 81. So 81 students achieved either grade 1, 2, or 4. We're going again. So therefore, 2 plus 4 plus 3 is equal to 81. 4 and 2, 6 and 3, 9. So 9 parts is equal to 81. So 1 part is 81 divided by 9, which is 9. So therefore, 2 by 9, here this is 18. 4 by 9, Here, this is 36. And 3 by 9 is 27. So they want the number of students passed. So they could get a grade 1, which is 18, a grade 2, which is 36, or a grade 3, which is 39. So 18 plus 36 plus 39, which is 93 students. 93 students passed. So take down whatever you need from the screen there. Determine the value of the sector angle representing grade 1. So grade 1 is 18 students. 18 out of how much? Well, we have 120 students. So 18 over 120 multiplied by 360. 120 could go into this 3 times. The sector angle is 54 degrees. Are we okay so far?
Yeah, miss.
So let's go. The 2020 January. A group of 100 students estimated the mass of a seed. The cumulative frequency curve is shown. They want the median. So the median is half of the cumulative frequency. The highest cumulative frequency is 100. So the median is a half of 100, which is the 50th value. So you're going to the curve and you're going to estimate the 50th value. So we're going straight across and we're coming down. So this, each one represents 0.2. This is the small block right after 3. This is 3.2 grams. So having done that and having known that the median is half of the cumulative frequency, you will have scored 1 mark. They ask you to estimate the upper quartile. Well, the median is half. The upper quartile will be 3/4 of 100. So we're looking for the 75th value. So we're going again to our curve. We're going to read off where 75 is. Coming straight down. Right? This is approximately 4.2 grams. Depending on how you draw your line, the examiner will award you your mark. The next part asks for the semi-interquartile. To find the semi-interquartile, we need to find the lower quartile. So let me do it right here. The lower quartile is a quarter of 100. So we're looking at the 25th value. So 25 will lie somewhere there. This is roughly about 2.2. So this is 2.2 grams. So the semi-interquartile is a half of the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So a half of 4.2 minus 2.2. 4.2 minus 2.2, the divided by 2. This is approximately 1. All right, so see what you need from the screen before we continue. Median, 50%. Upper quartile, 3/4. Lower quartile, 1/4 of the cumulative frequency. Semi is 1/2 of the upper minus the lower. The next part of the question says, the number of students whose estimate is 2.8 grams. So 2.8 grams. So we're going up. Here will be 2.8. We're going straight up there. And straight to the curve here. Straight to the curve. Straight across. So this is 38. This is called the median. This is called the upper quartile. This is called the lower quartile. Right? And the number of students whose estimate is 2.8 grams or less is 38. Use the cumulative frequency curve on page 18 to complete the frequency table. Now, the cumulative frequency is what we call the running down total. That is when you add the values, come down. So to get the frequency, we need to subtract. So we know 3, we know 20, 6, and 1. And when we add up these values, we are supposed to get 100. So it's 2 values we need to get. So that's good. We need to get 4 and 2. So 4 and 2. So let me erase this. So let's see how they got the values in the first place. So 0 to 2, the first one, 0 is 0, 0. So here is 20 and here is 0. The difference here is 20. So that is my first frequency value. They gave us between 6 and 8. 6 and 8 is 6. So let's go here. 6 and 8. Right? So these two values here, this difference is 6. And then between 8 and 10, here is 1. So we need to get between 6 and 4 and 4 and 2. So let's go up to 4, right? And let's come across. And let's go to 2. So if you notice, this one, let me draw it properly. This one here, look at this point here. That is 1, if I make it bigger, that is 1 small block before 70. So this value here is 68. And the value at 4, that is the value at 4, and the value at 2 is 20. So therefore, this interval here must be 48. So what number, when added together here, will give me 100? 20 plus 48 plus 6 plus 1 minus 100. How much would this value be? Anybody? What is the
27.
missing? Not 27.
25.
25. Let's add it. 20 plus 48 plus 25 plus 6 plus 1 to give 100. You are correct. It is 20. It is 25, not 27, right? We want the probability that a student estimated mass is more than 6 grams. So 6 grams will fall in these two intervals. 6 plus 7 over 100. So this is 7 over 100. 7 over 100. Let's go. So I'm doing this one. And there's one other in question 5 that you have to try for homework, right? And then after our break, we go to question 6. The cumulative frequency distribution of the volume of petrol needed to fill tanks of 150 vehicles are shown. So let me explain something to you. 21 to 30 is what we call a class interval. So in my table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 class intervals, right? "21" is called the lower class limit because it is the smallest value of the two, and 30 is called the upper class limit. To find the class boundaries, we take the lower class limit and minus 0.5. Why do we do that? Because that is the smallest value that can be into that interval. You remember, it is an approximate. So not everybody will fill 21 liters of petrol. Somebody might fill 20.5 or 20.6 or 20.7. So that is an approximate value to 21. So any value between 20.5 upward will fall into that interval. So the lower class boundary is 20.5. Before we find the class width, I want you to find the upper class boundary. So take the upper class limit and now add 0.5. And the class width is the difference between the upper class boundary and the lower class boundary. So work on that for me now, please. Anybody with the upper class boundary? Does anybody have the upper class boundary? Take the upper class limit and just add 0.5. What is the value? Thank you, 30.5. So what is the class width now? 30.5 minus 20.5 is
10, miss.
Very good. And the class width will be the same for all the intervals. Let's go. How many vehicles were recorded in the class 31 to 40? Now here what? They want to know how many vehicles, but here's what they have, the cumulative frequency. So we have to find the frequency values. In CXC, whenever they bring cumulative frequency, you try and find the frequency because chances are you'll have to find an answer using the frequency values. So the first one is 24. The next one, 59 minus 24. The next one, 101 minus the answer I get, 129 minus the answer, and 150 minus the answer. So go ahead, take down the values there and fill in the columns for me. Minus 59, which is the number before, 101 and 129. So work it out. So you're just subtracting each previous number. All right, do you all have the values for the frequency? The first one is 24. What do you all have again? 59 minus 24 is 35. Did you all get that?
Yeah, miss.
So how many cars needed between 31 and 40? How many cars? How many cars was the frequency between 31 and 40?
42.
42. So if you put 101, you would have gotten it wrong, right? A vehicle is chosen at random from 150 vehicles. What is the probability that the volume of petrol needed to fill the tank was more than 50.5? Right, so you remember we have to work out 129 minus 101. This is 28. And 150 minus 129, here's 21. So this interval here, the lower class boundary would be 50.5. So all the vehicles that require 50.5 and more will be found in this interval. And the number of vehicles here would be 21. 21 over 150. So here, 21 over 150, and this will give us 7 over 50. How did I get that answer? Well, according to my table, in the interval 51 to 60, it simply means that every car requiring petrol that is 50.5 liters or more will be found in that interval. So it is that number of cars, which is 21, over the total number of cars or vehicles, which is 150. Byron estimates the median amount of petrol is 43.5. The word median should give you a hint you find in the middle. So the median of what? Well, it's 150 vehicles. So a half of 150, we're looking at the 75th value. So watch what Byron estimated it 43.5. We go in here. If we start off with 24 and then we add, so we're going back to the table. 24 plus 35, we'll get 59. We didn't reach 75 yet, but 59, right, plus 42 will give us 101. So therefore, this is the median. The median is supposed to be between 31 to 40, but Byron estimated a value that was higher than the median. Byron estimate was 43.5. Byron is supposed to place a value between 31 and 40. So his value of the median is incorrect. So we can write that. Byron's estimate is incorrect since the median interval is 31 to 40 and 43.5 does not lie in that interval. Now, if Byron had estimated 33.5, his estimate would have been correct. So I am sure that you all have seen the pattern of the questions in question 5. You get in probability, you could get a ratio, they bring in statistics, cumulative frequency, they could bring pie chart, and here in this question, they ask us to draw a histogram. So question 5 deals with those topics, all right? On the partially labeled grid, construct a histogram to represent the distribution of volume needed to fill the tanks. Remember at the beginning of this question, I told you from the time you spot cumulative frequency in the table, you extend the column in your booklet and you find the frequency, because you're not going to use cumulative frequency to draw a histogram, right? So the heights of the bars are these values here. Those are the heights of the bars. And to draw a histogram, we need to get the lower class boundary. So 11 minus 0.5, this is 10.5, 20.5, 30.5, and 40.5. So 10.5, so we count in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the first interval is 24. So we go in all the way up. This is 25. This will be 24. That is my first bar. And it helps if you put the value on top. So we have 10.5. It's supposed to be a little more, a little less. So the value is supposed to be a little more than 10.5, a little less just now. Right? So draw it midway between those two lines, and we're going up to 24. Where's this pencil? 10.5. I'm coming a little more here. All right, this is the first bar, 24. Then the next one is 59. So we are going to 59. At 59, you know. This is 35, sorry. 35. So we're going up to 35. So this is my second bar. This is 35. The next one is 42, 28, and 21. 42 right, 28, so 2 less here, 28, and the last one is 21. And all the bars of the histogram are joined. Do you all see how to draw the histogram?
Yeah, miss.
All right. So there was one question on the worksheet that I wasn't able to do, the question with the wire check and the digilect. So I will send the answers for you for that question. I ask that you attempt it in your spare time. It is 4:58. I'm giving you a break for 10 minutes. You will come back in 10 minutes time and we'll do question 6 of the CSEC past paper. All right. Farmer Brown makes troughs to feed his animals using wood that is 5 centimeters thick. As shown in the diagram below, the troughs are rectangular based, open at the top, and have an external dimension. So the external dimension of this box is 300, measuring 300 by 190 by 160. They gave you the answer and they ask you to find the volume. So it is a cuboid, so the volume, length by breadth by height. So we need to find the internal length, the internal height, and the internal width. Now the trough is measuring 5 cm thick. So it means if you have a box, the next time you go outside and mommy and daddy have anything lying around that is in a shape of a box, look at it. There's an internal volume that is smaller than the outside because the inside, it has a thickness, it has a lid or a lip, right? So the length here, this side will be 5, this side will also be 5. So the length will be 300 minus 5 plus 5 on each side. So that is 290. The width or the breadth will be 160 minus 5 by 5, which is 150. And the height will be 190 minus 5 by 5, which is 180. When we multiply 290 by 150 by 180, we will get, just now, the height is only by 5, sorry. Remember, the height, it is open. They say that it is open at the top. So we just had to subtract 5 from this, and this will give us 185. So 290 by 150 by 185 will give us 180. Where did I get 180? 160. 160 is the width. Just now I'm confusing myself here. Let me go again. The length, so the box has a length of 300. So we take out 5 by 5. So this part will be 290, right? Now the box is open. So the height of the box is 160, but the box doesn't have a cover. So we had a minus 5 from this and we will get 155. And well, the width is 190 minus 5 plus 5, which is 180. Here we have to get it. 290 by 155 by 180, which is 8091000. Now, say in an examination, you have an answer and you know that we're supposed to take out the thickness from each side, right? Therefore, if you minus 5 cm from the length, the width, and the height, you know you didn't get the correct answer. The question give you the answer, so it is just a matter of manipulating the data. If I have I'm trying to see if I get a box somewhere. More boxes. Try and open it. Right. This is my box here. Right? It's open to the top. The inside volume is different from the outside because there's a thickness. Right? There's a thickness. Now, the length here is 300. So obviously, inside here can't be 300 because there's a 5 centimeter thickness. So there will be a 5 centimeters right around. So therefore, this length will be 300 minus 10, which is 290, to take into consideration the 5 cm thickness. Right? The width now. The width is 190, so that is this side now. So remember, it's 190 right throughout. So the width will be 190 and 5 and 5. Now the height of the box, there is no cover. If there was a cover, we would have had to subtract 5 cm and 5 cm. But it's only 1 5 cm because of the height of the box. It's only 1 5 cm thickness. So it's just simply a matter of subtracting 10 from the width and the length and subtracting 5 from the height. The volume of the wood now needed to make the trough. Well, that one is simple. How much wood do we need? We need 300 cm by 190 by 160. Well, you should have at least been able to get that. Volume 300 by 190 by 160. 300 by 190 by 160 will give us 9120000 centimeter cube. Volume is 3-dimensional. Farmer Brown must paint the internal surface of his trough. Given 1 gallon of paint covers approximately 280,000 centimeters squared of surface, determine the amount of paint needed to paint the surface. So we have the external volume, right? So 1 gallon is approximately 3.79 liters. That is what was given. So he wants to paint the internal surface, not the external. He wants to paint the internal surface. So he painted, here's what he painted. He's painting all the sides. So all the sides, here, 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 here. Right? So he painted 6 sides. He painted 1 big side here. Then he painted this wall, this, that. So it's 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 of which are the same. Watch it. This side is the same as this bottom side here. This side here, where my hand, both hands are, that side is the same. And this side here is the big face, right? Because the top of the box is open. So Farmer Brown only painted 5 sides of this box and is the internal, right? So let's go back. So we have 5 faces. The first face here will be 290, right, by 180, right? Then we have 180 by 180 by, so 5 faces. So we're really finding the surface area of the internal trough. So the first face is 290 by this height here, which is 155. And we have this face here, that is the same face here. So that is 2. So it's 2 by 290 by 155, right? We go in again. So that is 2 faces. Then we have 155 by 290, we have that. Then we have 290 by 180. So 2 by 290 by 180. And the last face, 155 by 180. This is the one below here. So all the 5 faces. The first one, 155 by 180. Then 2 by 290 by 155. Then 2 by 290 by 180. So when we add all of that, we will get 155 by 180, which is 27,900. 2 by 290 by 155, 89,900. 2 by 290 by 180, 104,400. When we add that together, we will get 155 by 180 is 27,000 plus 89 plus 104, 400, 200. So that is how much coverage he needs. So to find the number of liters, the gallon of paint covers 280,000. So to find out how many he needs, we take in 2, and we dividing it by how much coverage we get and multiply it by 3.79. So divided by 280,000 multiplied by 3.79. So Farmer Brown needs approximately 3 liters of paint. All right. So when you get some spare time, you'll try the question. We have something similar in January 2021. This is a fish aquarium. I am sure that you all have seen a fish aquarium at some point in your life. We want to calculate the volume. The volume again is cross-sectional area by height or length by width by height. So let's go. Volume, length by width by height. So it is 40 by 50 by 15. So when we multiply 40 by 15 by 50, we will get 30,000 centimeter cube. So here we have a cylindrical container that is used to fetch more water. All the water from the rectangular tank is filled into the cylindrical tank. So we first have to find out what is the volume of the cylindrical tank. Now this is a cylinder, right? The cylinder, it measures 21 centimeter height by a radius of 20. So let us find the volume of the cylinder. Pi r squared h, 22 over 7, multiply by 20, multiply by 20, multiply by 21. So 22 over 7 by 20 by 20 by 21 will give us 26,400. But here's what. This is my cylindrical tank. This is my rectangular tank here. I am going to take all the contents of this and I'm going to pour it. So I'm going to take the 30,000 that I had before and I'm going to pour it with the 26,400. So the total in the tank would be the 30,000 that was in my fish tank plus the 26,000 that I have presently in the cylindrical tank. So this is 56,400 centimeter cube, right? Show that the new depth of water in the rectangular tank is 28.2. So now volume is equal to 56,400. Show that the new depth, which is the height, right? So length by breadth by height is equal to 56,400. Let's go back to the fish tank. The height is what changing. This is what changes. This stays the same and this stays the same, right? The 50 and the 40 stays. The height of the water will always change because as you pour more and more water from the cylinder, it will fill up the tank. So 50 by 40 by some height will give me 56,400. So 50 by 40 is 2,000. So the height, 56,400 divided by 2,000 is 28.2 centimeters, right? We go in again. The vertical height of the rectangular tank, this vertical height is 48. How many more of these cylindrical tanks can I fill so that the vertical height in my fish tank is 48 centimeters? So let's work out the volume of the rectangular tank. Length by breadth by height. Remember, I tell you 50 by 40, that is the area of the face that will change. So 50 by 40 by 48 now. So 50 by 40 by 48 is 9,600. But remember, I have water already in the fish bowl. I have the 30,000 and I have the 26,000 from the cylinder. So that's 56,000. So the amount of water needed will be 96,000 minus 56,400, which is 39,600. And if one cylinder can hold 26,400, the number of cylinders needed will simply be 39,600 divided by 26,400. 1.5. So this question was more practical. And once you know about volume and surface area, and you have a little bit of knowledge about these things, you are supposed to be able to work it out. So try it when you get some time. And I'm sure we could find a fish tank somewhere. Or you could use a rectangular container. Mommy must have a rectangular bowl in the cupboard. So take that and take a glass of water. Fill the rectangular container with a little bit of water and pour the contents of the glass into the container, and you will see how the depth of water will rise, right? So you could do that little experiment in your own time. And I could take the question as well, and you will see how it will be a little more meaningful and beneficial. So let's go. This one with the circles. The radius of each circle is 7 centimeters. Show that the area of the rectangle is 2,352. So if the radius is 7, then here is 7. This is 7 plus 7. This is 7 plus 7. 7 plus 7. 4. So 14 by 4. Here is 56. This side now. 14, 14, 14. 42. So area of the rectangle, length by width, 56 by 42. And that wasn't too bad. I feel you're supposed to be able to work out that. 2,352 centimeters squared. Show, no, that was the part to show. Calculate the area of the shaded region. So you have to find the area of a circle and multiply it by the number of circles. So let's find area of a circle, pi r squared. So it's 22 over 7 by 7 by 7. One circle has an area of 22 by 7, which is 154. Let's see how many circles we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the area of 12 such circles will be 154 by 12, which is 1,848. So the area of the shaded region is 2352 minus 1848. 504 centimeters squared. So that wasn't too bad. All right, let's go. We want the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a triangle MNP in which the angle MPN is equal to the angle PMN, which is 52 degrees. State the type of angle. Well, if we have two angles that are the same, the type of triangle is none other than isosceles. So we are supposed to be able to get it. Determine the value of n. Well, the sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So this angle here would be 180 minus 52 plus 52. 180 minus 52 minus 52. Here is supposed to be 76. So that's not supposed to give you any trouble. We want the area of MNP. So the area of the triangle that doesn't have a height, we use the formula. A half AB sine C. So here as well will be 12.5. So I'm going to pause here and I want you to work it out. A half of 12.5 by 12.5 by sine 76. Go ahead and try it. We can't use base by height because the triangle itself doesn't have any height. Please let me know when you all have an answer. Anybody with an answer? Are you all there?
Miss 950.
No.
Oh.
Make sure your calculator is in degrees, right? And work it back. A half of 12.5 by 12.5 by sine 76. Make sure the calculator is in degrees. You all try, please, and let me know what you get. All right, what answer did you all get? A half multiplied by 12.5 by 12.5 by sine 76. Anybody? I got 75.8. Did anybody get that? All right, let's go. June 2019. All right, and then January. Let's go. June 2019. The scale on a map. So you remember the map is just a representation of the actual, right? So the scale is 1 to 25,000. What does this mean? It means that 1 cm on land represents 25,000. 1 cm on the map. And the map represents 25,000 on land. So when you have a scale drawing, that is what it means. 1 cm on the map represents 25,000. So how much will 0.5 centimeters represent? .5 cm will represent 0.5 by 25,000, which is 12,500 cm. So that wasn't bad. The actual area in kilometers squared is represented by 2.25 cm squared on the map. So therefore, 1 centimeter will represent, all right, so here's what we have, right? We have to work out how many, so kilometers to meters to cm. So we multiply by 1,000 and here we multiply by 100. So to go from kilo to centi, we multiply by 100,000. Right? So 1 centimeter will represent 25,000 over 100,000 kilometers. Because to go from centimeters in a reverse direction now, we divide by 100,000. So 1 centimeters will be 25,000 divided by 100,000, which is a quarter or 0.25. Right? So we one step closer. So therefore, to get centimeter square now, it will be 0.25 by 0.25. And we know 25 by 25 is 625. So 0.25 by 0.25 will give me 0.0625 kilometers. And we want to know how much will 2.5 represents. So 2.25 is 2.25 by 0.0625, which is 0.140625 kilometers. Let me pause here. I'm sure there must be something that you want to take down on the screen. So go ahead. All right, let's go. So we have two jars, jar X and another one taller, jar Y, right? Determine in terms of pi and d the volume of water in jar X. What is jar X? It is a cylindrical jar. So therefore, volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. They told you to leave the answer in pi and d. Now, the radius of the container there is 3d over 2, because this here is the diameter. So the radius will be half. So it will be 3d over 2. So don't get confused just yet, right? Pi multiplied by 3d over 2 multiplied by 3d over 2 multiplied by 4. Don't get confused just yet, the question works out. 2 could go into 4 2 times, 2 could go into 2 1 time. Pi, 3 by 3, 9, d by d, d squared pi. So that wasn't so bad. Jar X is 9d squared pi. So that was not so bad as long as you know the formula. are taking the contents of this and I'm going to pour it into this bottle here. Well, it's obvious that the height of this one is going to be higher because it's a slimmer bottle, right? So calculate the height it will reach. So volume of jar Y is pi r squared h. Here the diameter is d, so the radius is d over 2. So it is pi multiplied by d over 2 by d over 2 by h, right? So this is d squared over 4 pi h. We want to find h. How much is this volume? Well, the volume is equal to this volume here because I've taken the contents of this and I've poured it into this slim bottle. So I've taken the volume, the capacity, and I'm pouring it here. So this is 9d squared pi is equal to d squared over 4 pi h. So we're doing it one step at a time, right? We want to find for h. So let me get rid of the fraction first. So I'm going to multiply by 4. 9 by 4 is 36. D squared pi h. I want to get h the subject. So therefore, I'm going to divide both sides by d squared pi. This is going to cancel. H is equal to 36 centimeters. And to be honest with you, that wasn't so bad. The question looked a little bit confusing, but it wasn't so bad. Remember, in question 5, you don't need to know statistics. You need to know how to draw a histogram. You need to know mean, mode, and median. You need to know ratio. You also need to know percentages, probability. Question 6, it is the question on measurement. You need to know volume. You need to know surface area. You need to know map ratio. That is the 1 to 25,000, right? So practice the questions. The question hardly deviates. As long as you practice at least the last 5 years of papers, you should be okay, right? And I encourage you to go back after the session and to redo the questions on your own. That is when it makes sense. You have the answers, right? I don't know if you all have been accessing the Google Classroom. I did put all the recordings and I am uploading all the solutions for you. So you can go back and check. And if at any point you're really not getting it, feel free to message me. Now, our 4 sessions for the month of November has ended. We are on to the month of December. So we have 4 sessions to wrap it up. Today was the first one. The second one is going to be next week, Sunday. The third one is going to be the following Sunday. And the week when school closes, which is the week starting on the 13th, we'll have our final session where we put each and everything together, right? So for those of you all who wish to make payments and you haven't made it as yet, feel free to contact me. I will be in the Chaguanas area on Tuesday, probably till Friday. Feel free to message me, and I am at Chaguanas South as well if you would like to come by there and make